Hello everyone, Mike Peterson with Higher Ed AV Media, and we are here at day 4 of the ISE 2023 show in beautiful Barcelona, Spain. And we're here at the NEAT booth this morning, and I'm here with Justin Bondi. Justin, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Justin Bondi, the lead product specialist here at NEAT. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to taking you through our product line today and show you some of the interesting experiences that we create here and how our products do that.
Perfect. Well, we're in front of something right now. Let's start there.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me tell you a little bit about NEAT first and what we do. We focus very much on our product design by starting with the user experience, right? We want to think about the experiences that we're going to deliver to you, your users, and the administrator as well, the person who has to take care of all of these devices. We think about that first, and then we design our products to deliver those experiences in various spaces, right? So we're always trying to think of the user first. So we've got several things to show you today. The first one, though, is one that I think is really relevant for education,
Right.
and that is NEAT Board. So this is an all-in-one video conferencing device and 65-inch whiteboard, digital whiteboard display, right? So this one is running Zoom, and we actually started our company partnering with Zoom, but we also partner with Microsoft as well to deliver Microsoft Teams. So we work in both of those environments.
Great.
And the really nice thing about that is that this is a native Zoom Room experience, right?
Okay.
So if you are used to Zoom, using it on your laptop, maybe using other Zoom rooms, you're going to have no problem understanding this, and your users are going to have a very short learning curve, because if they're used to Zoom, they can use this right out of the box because it is completely native Zoom. There's no neat application to learn or anything like that.
Great.
So let's talk about this first. Again, this is an all-in-one device, meaning this is the camera, the microphones, the speakers, and the compute to run the Zoom Room software. So you don't have to maintain a PC or a Mac Mini or something stuck behind this that you have to do software updates and USB cables plugged into it and all that. It's all completely self-contained. So you literally take it out of the box, you put it on the stand or you put it on the wall, and you have a Zoom Room, an all-in-one Zoom Room set up in about 10 minutes. So setup is something we spend a lot of time on in terms of being able to set it up very easily, almost like a high-end consumer product you'd have at your house. Like we like to compare ourselves sometimes to Sonos, right?
Right.
Take it out, you couple taps on an app and you're listening to music. Very, very similar to how you set one of these up. So there's not a lot of specialized knowledge that you need to get these going. So it makes deploying them at scale very simple. So that's kind of the first part. It starts with that out-of-box experience. Now, once we're on the device, right, 65-inch touch-enabled display. So all of my control is available right here on the device itself. So I can join a call right from a scheduled call. I can join an ad hoc meeting. I can join a meeting by a meeting ID, right? So I can click on there and put in my meeting ID. And Zoom just over the last couple weeks also released new functionality where now I can actually join, it's what they call direct guest join. I can join Google Meet calls. I can even join Microsoft Teams or WebEx calls. So if you have, if you have your Zoom Room licenses on these devices, now you have the ability to call into these other platforms as well with video, voice, and content sharing. So that's a really exciting one that we're showing off here as well. So let's join a conference and see what this looks like. So I'm going to join my Zoom call here at Barcelona. So let's join that. We have some virtual guests here in the call with us, so they're going to pop up. And I'm going to start my video, so you can and what you're going to see here is you're going to see us in this screen, and you see him filming us there. And what you're seeing here is one of the really interesting things that our camera technology can do, which is something we call Neat Symmetry. So let me just show you how that works really quickly. I'm going to go into my camera controls, and I'm actually going to turn that off. I'm just going to put us into manual framing here and zoom us all the way out. Right? So I'm going to zoom that camera out. Now let's look at our self view here, right? what this has always been an issue in the video conferencing world, where how do you present a room that might have several people in it and make that a good experience for the people on the far end? This has always been an issue in video conferencing, where rooms, but it's always been rooms calling rooms, right? So you have a room with a huge display, and you blow up the far end image of the other conference room, the other classroom, and you can see people all right. But the pandemic has actually really exacerbated this problem, because now most of the people on the call are in a home office or at home on a laptop, right? So they're all in their individual gallery view image, framed up head and shoulders like that.
Right.
But now people are coming back, and the classroom or the conference room pops up on the screen, and now that's just another one of those small squares in that gallery view layout. So everyone is tiny, right? You're zoomed out. You can hardly see who people are. You can't make them out. It's hard to follow the meeting. You feel very removed from the live meeting. So we thought at Neat, how do we make this experience better, right? It's like we can do better than this. And so what we did is, first, we built our camera hardware to be very flexible to support a lot of different modalities. This is a digital pan-tilt zoom camera. It's not an optical zoom camera, right? So there's no moving parts, the camera doesn't move, the glass in the lens doesn't zoom in and out. And we did that for a very specific reason, because there are certain things that we wanted to do in delivering a new experience that you actually cannot do with an optical zoom camera. So we created our own digital pan-tilt zoom camera in order to do some really interesting things, and I'll show you what that is now. Now we combine that with some software AI for people finding, right? So the camera is actually looking at the room and recognizing who's who in the room, being able to pick them out and understand, okay, that's a person based on your shape, right? So it's actually looking at the room right now and it's deciding who's who, right, and who we are. So now I'm going to go in and I'm actually going to turn on some of that auto framing. So I'll turn on my auto framing right here, and what you see is now the camera is individually framing us, right? So it's actually zooming in, and you saw as he moved, it actually moved with him. It's following him as he moves around. So he's trying to get his camera out of the shot, and he can't because the camera's tracking him, right? So the nice thing about this is that we don't have to alter our behavior. We can move or sit wherever we want, right? I can kind of crouch down like this, and that camera's actually going to move. You'll see in a second. It'll actually move with me and zoom in, right? So follow me. So now if you're looking at maybe a conference room, a small classroom, this camera will actually pick out individual students and frame them, right, just like so, right? So that camera is adjusting on the fly for everyone, right?
Yeah.
So again, so now we are much more equal in size to the other people on the call, right? We feel like we're more included in the call. We feel like and at the far end, the other folks in the call are going to feel like they're more engaged because they can see everyone on the call. So this is a big thing for Neat in terms of, again, a really good prime example of these experiences that we're delivering.
And that's great. We talk a lot about experience and anything you can do to improve the user experience, and this is a big way to do that. So it's fantastic.
Great. So let's move on here.
Okay.
So that is our all-in-one whiteboard device, Neat Board. Now we also make room systems, right? So this is what we call Neat Bar Pro. So this is our large room system, which actually on Zoom supports 3 screens, right? So this is something that you could install in a room, have 2 screens and a projector, or 2 screens by themselves. There's lots of different and also layout options that you have that Zoom can deliver to you, right? So you can basically have the content on 2 screens or 1 screen, have the gallery view across all 3. All those are options that are configurable within the Zoom portal. So again, but just like Neat Board, this device, Neat Bar Pro, is an all-in-one device. So again, the camera, the speakers, the microphones, and the compute to run the Zoom software is in here. So no hidden PC or anything else you have to maintain. Now this device is also controlled by what we call Neat Pad. So Neat Pad is our controller device. It's an 8-inch touch display. And again, completely purpose-built, right? So this has a single connection that's a PoE connection, so you can get network and power on it, or use Wi-Fi. It's the native Zoom controller interface, so very easy to join, one click to join or manual join with an ID. and all of that control that I was showing you on the Neat board exists on the pad here, right? So these bars will have that with them. But again, same exact functionality. This is for sort of your larger spaces, larger conference rooms. So think of like 20 feet by 33 feet, or since we're in Europe, 6 meters by 10 meters, right? About that size. Yeah. So, small to medium-sized classroom space, I think it works really, really well. And again, same exact experience in terms of our individual auto framing, right? So this is just a local shot, and that same auto framing pops up. And because it's designed for those larger rooms, the camera module actually has two lenses in it. It has a wide angle and a telephoto, so that you can actually have people who are 30 feet away be picked up and zoomed in on and made to be even with everyone else on the call.
Equity, we love
it. Exactly. So, so just to give you really quickly these devices here. So Neat Bar Pro, as we talked about, and this is Neat Bar. So this is the Neat Bar Pro's little brother. And Neat Bar is for sort of those smaller huddle spaces. So this has the same camera, microphones, and speakers that Neat Board does. So it's going to have the same type of room specifications as Neat Board, which is, this is more of like, obviously like a mounted device that you would put in a small to medium conference room, 10 feet by 18 feet, something like that. Neat Board, because it has the rolling cart option as well as a wall mount option, Neat Board's really popular in education because you can move it around in a space, move it around in a classroom or a lab or that type of a thing. So it's a lot more flexible, where this is more of a mounted device for more administrative type conference rooms, etc. All right. So we're also showing, if you don't mind, I've got a couple more things. We're showing some new, a couple new things that are coming out later this year. So if we want to walk over here. First of all, something that's going to be coming out in the fall of 2023 is something we call the Neat Center. So there we go. So the Neat Center is essentially a second camera and microphone module that has 360-degree view on it, right? And this is actually something that will pair with the device in the room itself, right? So if you look in this example here, right, you have a Neat board here, and you have the Neat Center in the middle of the room, and they'll actually pair on the network and work together as a single system, right? So. Let's see if we can get, there we go. So basically let's play. Is it playing? Doesn't want to play. So basically the idea with Neat Center is, in these situations, you can see everyone's sitting around the table like this, and from his perspective, if it's just the camera on the front of the room, he's going to be looking at the backs of their heads, right, in this sort of environment. But with Neat Center, it'll sense where people are looking and actually show them, again, front and center to him sitting at the table. So again, it's all about inclusivity, it's all about engagement. So he feels like he's still part of the conversation even though he's over here, right? But if they turn and look at him to speak to him, because in their perspective he's over there, this camera will then pick them up and show them facing him again, right? So he's always going to be facing them, so he feels like he's at the table himself. That's the idea. So it's basically got 365-degree cameras, 45 degrees each, a full microwave with 16 microphones for clearer sound. And also we want to do some interesting ways to place it. So you can place it on a table, but you're also going to be able to hang it from the ceiling. Right?
That's interesting.
So you can see, like, here's a classroom situation, right, where you have the board in the room, but then you also have the center up front, which can be used as a presenter or instructor camera. Right? So the microphone will be closer to the instructor, the camera will be closer to the instructor, where this camera can pick up the students in the audience, right? So that's a really nice one. Standard conference room, but then also larger spaces, you'll be able to have two of them together, working together, so you can do it, and I'm glad you used that word, because you're catching on. And also the hanging from the ceiling. This is a work lounge, but you could also see this happening in sort of more demonstrative classroom environments like labs and things like that, where you need it out of the way of a table or a workspace, but you still want that virtual engagement, right? So that's Neat Center, and again, this is coming out in the fall of 2023.
That's great. We look forward to seeing this come out. I think it's
great. And
Yeah,
the
great
one last
product.
thing I want to tell you about is something called Neat Pulse. So Neat Pulse is our new management platform. This is coming out sooner, probably in the early second calendar Q2 timeframe, the
Sure.
April-ish timeframe. And this is our new management platform. So this works in conjunction with the management tools that you have with the Zoom device management
Okay.
portal, right? So you're still going to use that, and it's called the Teams Administrative Center on the Microsoft side.
Okay.
And you're still going to use those platforms to administer the Teams software, the Zoom software, and all the things you have to do with that.
Right.
But this works hand in hand with that to manage our devices. Right, so basically what you're going to have is you have the ability for a full dashboard of all of your devices. You can do a lot of basically set up user profiles, or I'm sorry, room profiles,
Yep.
so that you can create a setting profile, a setting template, and push that out to a lot of different systems all at once, right? As sort of a batch. This gives you a visual representation to make sure your bars and your pads are paired properly, etc.
Sure.
And then if I go into the actual dashboard here, this is the actual dashboard itself.
Right.
Right. If I go here, now I can go in and I can look at a room. Right. I can look at my Neat board. I can see the occupancy. So it
neat.
actually tracks the occupancy of the room. Also some climate information as well. So temperature, humidity, VOC, and that's all data that in the future you'll be able to track and analyze.
And where's it getting that data?
From our devices. We have those sensors in the devices. All of our devices have that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. And then when you go in here, you can go in and you can see all the settings, etc. And let me go back. Actually, let me click on a different one. There we go. So here's this board right here.
Right.
And if I go into that board there, now what I can do is actually go in and pull up a remote control interface. So I'm actually seeing what's on the screen now.
Wow.
Right, so
Yeah.
I can go right in here, and if I click on it, yep, I can go ahead and I can click leave, so should be able to hang up on that call. See if it did that?
Yep.
Yep, leave meeting. And you can see it changing right over there.
Yeah.
Should be able to, yep. So I hung up the call, right? And now if I'm an administrator and I need to remotely check on a room, I can go in, I can check the settings here, I can see what the state is. So if a professor and instructor is calling the help desk saying, hey, something's weird, I can actually look and see what they're looking at on the screen with this device. So that's, again, Neat Pulse. It's our new administrative platform. It's coming out within the next few months.
That's amazing. That level of enterprise administration.
Yeah.
I can speak for everyone in higher ed that we love that level of control and visibility, able to do remote management, remote firmware upgrades,
Yeah.
those types of things. Look forward to that product. That's
Great,
fantastic.
great. Yeah, well, that's what I have to show in Barcelona this week, and thank you so much for coming and visiting and having a chat.
All right, thank you.
Great.
Again, Mike Peterson, Higher Ed AV Media. Stay tuned for more coverage.